5 steps to buying your first firearm. Let's light it up. So folks, welcome to the first in our series for first-time gun owners. And we wanted to do this video because I've gotten a lot of questions, not only online, but also in person and in my personal life. People asking questions. They want to get into the gun community. They want to be gun owners, but it's a daunting task. And that's absolutely understandable. There's a lot of variables, a lot of questions people have. And sometimes they find it hard to get the answers that they need, and they feel stupid asking those questions. And unfortunately, unintentionally within the community, sometimes we maybe don't treat those people the way that they should be treated, because they can't help that they don't know a lot of the things that we do. If we've been gun owners for a really long time, we know the ins and outs, we know the details. It's kind of second nature to us, and we don't understand why someone wouldn't know that. Well, we wanted to help people out because it can be very intimidating trying to get into a community, and that's what we're all here for, is to bring more people into our community to help the understanding and make everyone safer. So we wanted to do this series for first-time gun owners, giving you information and teaching you the ins and outs and how everything works. Today's video is about buying your first firearm and the 5 steps that go along with that. Step number 1, figure out what your intentions are. So narrow down what you're looking for. Are you looking for something as a carry firearm? Maybe you just moved to a new location, or maybe something happened. You saw it on the news, or something happened to someone you know, and you would feel safer having a carry firearm and getting your carry permit. Maybe you're just looking for something for home defense. Maybe there was a break-in in the neighborhood, or maybe you just feel compelled now to keep your family safe within your home. That's going to be a very different firearm. Maybe you're looking for something that can do a little bit of both. That's okay as well. Figure that out. Or maybe you're looking for something to go hunting with. I've got several friends of mine that have gone hunting with me, and I kind of took them out for the first time, let them use one of my guns, and then they kind of want to get into it, and they get really excited about it, and now they want to get their first hunting gun. And that's really going to depend on what type of game you're into and what type of game you're hunting. Maybe you're hunting big game, you need a bolt gun like this one right here from Christensen Arms. Maybe you're hunting pheasant or duck, and maybe you need a shotgun like this A300 Ultima right there. And throughout this process, you're going to want to figure out what caliber you want as well. That's another daunting task, and we're going to get into that one specifically in another video. But figure out, for a carry gun, is .380 good enough for you? Check out our video on is .380 good enough for self-defense. Maybe it's 9mm, maybe it's 45. That's a personal preference. You get to choose that. Maybe when it comes to shotguns, you're not really excited about shooting a 12 gauge all the time. Maybe you want a 20. It just depends on what you're looking for. Now, once you get into big game hunting and bolt guns, there's a lot more options there. I mean, it really depends on what you're hunting and what kind of range you're hunting at. You know, for a lot of locations, maybe 45-70 works. A lot of locations, maybe 308 works. Some of them, maybe you want to reach out further. You need 300 Win Mag, 7mm rim mag. So you're going to need to determine what caliber you need as well. Step number 2, you want to get hands-on. You want to get that firearm in your hands and feel it. Feel what it feels like. We can see that this one's clear, nothing in the magazine. So you see a lot of reviews and a lot of people out there, oh, well, this gun fits me perfectly and I've got medium to large hands, or I've got really large hands and maybe this one's a little too small for me to... No, that's not really going to cut it. You can't base what's going to feel good for you off of someone else's interpretation. So you really want to go into a local gun store or to a local gun range and get hands-on. A lot of these places have it where you can rent a firearm. Maybe it's a gun store that has a range attached to it, and a lot of the ranges you go to, you can rent a firearm for the day and go in, shoot it, see what it feels like. Get hands-on with them and figure out what feels good ergonomically in your hands, because I've also seen a lot of people buy a gun that was really hyped up to them. They thought it looked cool. It was exactly what they thought they wanted. They bought it without feeling of it. They got it home, started practicing with it, and realized they didn't really like it that much. It didn't fit them. It didn't fit their body. It didn't fit their hand, and it wasn't comfortable for them. And unfortunately, in that circumstance, a lot of people lose interest because they've just spent a lot of money on something that they don't enjoy. So get hands-on with it. Feel it out. See what feels comfortable for you. This Hellcat, it feels great for me. I've got a friend of mine, he absolutely hates it. It just depends on personal preference and what feels good and is comfortable for you. My everyday carry is typically my CZP-01 right here. Go ahead and check it. Yep, it is clear. So that is my everyday carry right there, typically. Sometimes I'll carry something lighter, but this is typically my everyday carry. It feels good, it fits good for me, it shoots really good for me. And that's another important thing. When you get the opportunity to rent one, please do, because that gives you an opportunity to take it onto the range, shoot it, make sure you are proficient with it, and it works well for you. There's some guns that I just can't shoot well. That's just the way it goes. There's some guns that I shoot better than others. You want to determine that in this second step. Now, at this point, you've narrowed down your options. You've determined what feels good. You've pushed away all the ones that don't really feel good, don't appeal to you in any way. Now, step number 3 is you want to research other people's experience. Go online, go on YouTube, look at gun reviews. Also do research on the company of manufacturer. So at this point, you want to do this, but you want to do it cautiously, because there's a lot of reviews out there, and within those reviews, there's going to be a lot of subjective material. You want to sift through that and wade through it, get it out of the way, because a lot of the subjective stuff is not necessarily going to apply to you. At that point, you want to look at the objective stuff. We're talking information, not affirmation here, all right? So you want to look at the objective stuff, like its durability, its reliability, its functionality. And you want to determine which ones are your favorites from that block you've already narrowed down. So maybe you picked one here, the reviews aren't so great. Maybe there was some reliability issues. You want to determine that. That might sway your opinion. So maybe this one that you did think felt good and did appeal to you and was in your price range, maybe that one you're not feeling so great about anymore because there was quite a few bad reviews on it. But again, I want to stress, you need to look at that objectively and very cautiously, because maybe it's just a bad review that the person just doesn't like that gun. They don't like the trigger. They don't like it at all. There's guns out there that I don't care for the trigger at all, and other people love the trigger on them. It just depends on your personal preference and what feels good for you. Now, we've reached that critical point, the point that scares most people because it does seem daunting. Step number 4. At this point, you've narrowed it down to what you want. Now you figure out how much you can spend on it, and you go and purchase that firearm. So you do your research, find wherever has it for the lowest price. And there's a lot of different options available out there with the internet these days and with being able to buy firearms online. Now you are going to have it shipped, and it's going to cost a transfer fee to ship it to your local FFL, but keep that in mind. And if you've got a gun store that you really like and really like dealing with and like the people there, then a lot of times they can do price matches. Sometimes they can't. It just depends on the situation. So check that as well. But now it comes down to purchasing your first firearm. If you're doing it online, what's going to happen is you're going to enter all your information. You're going to purchase that firearm. That gets processed and it gets shipped to your FFL. When your FFL receives it, they're going to give you a call, say, hey, we got your gun in. If you'll just come on down, we'll do the background check, we'll do the paperwork, you can be on your way. If you are buying it in person, you're going to go into the gun store, you're going to make sure, yep, that's the one I want. You pick it out. At that point, you're going to go over, they're going to verify that the serial numbers match on the box, on the gun, on all the paperwork. You verify that. Then, in the case of our store, you're going to go over to a computer. That is going to be the Tennessee background check. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to fill out your form on the computer. It used to be everyone just filled out a paper form. Now, it's very simple. We've got a server. We go on. You enter all your information. You complete the questionnaire on the background check, and you send it through. 10 to 15 minutes later, you get your answer. At that point, you are approved, and you go over to the register. You pay for your firearm, and you're on your way. Now, at this point, you want to think about, are there any accessories that you want? Maybe you want to add a red dot to it if it's a carry pistol. Maybe you want to add a light to it if it's for home defense, or even a carry pistol. Maybe if it's in the case of like a bolt gun like that, you've got to add an optic to it. So you go over to the optics counter. And as with the case with our store, we also do optics mounting on like hunting rifles, that kind of thing. And we bore sight as well.
Yes, we do.
So we can set up your rifle or your handgun exactly how you want it, folks. All of these products are available from all of the tools that we use here. They're available on our website, all the way down to the sites that we use right here. So you can order online, or you can come into our store and get completely outfitted with everything that you need. At that point, you get your ammo, and now we're on to step 5. And this is the most crucial step in the process. Now you've got your firearm, you've gone through that whole process. What do you do now? At that point, you want to practice with it. You want to get to know each and every function of that firearm. Whether or not it has a safety, whether or not it has a hammer, double action, single action, a bolt, a pump. You want to know that firearm inside and out and how it functions, and even clearing malfunctions. Because if it's a carry pistol, it comes time for you to use it, you're not going to have time to figure things out then. In the case of a hunting rifle, that big buck steps out into a clearing, you're not going to have time to figure out how that hunting rifle works. If you're pheasant hunting and those dogs clear out some birds ahead of you, you're not going to have time to figure out how that shotgun works when those birds take off. If you hear a bump in the night, you're not going to have time to figure out how that home defense firearm works when it's time to use it. So, take the time after you buy it to get to know that firearm as well as you possibly can and practice with it. Shoot it, tear it down, even dry fire practice at home with snap caps. Super important. Breath control, trigger discipline. Those are the 5 steps to buying your first firearm. As always, folks, it's been me, TC, here with Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this video and where you want us to go next with this series for first-time gun owners. And don't forget, let us know what you're hunting for.